Okay, so the tongues to her situation on Roblox, along with Still a Brainrot, it's gotten a little bit crazy. All right, I got an update for you guys. So a few days ago, I made this video here. It got deleted, talking about tongues to her. And, well, I actually managed to get into contact with the owners of tongues to her, and I have some updates. In fact, we have a lot of updates, but we'll get into that here in a second. Let me quickly get you guys up to speed, because if you don't play Still a Brainrot or any Brainrot games on Roblox, you may not know what's going on. You see, this right here is tongues to her. He's a character in Still a Brainrot, or he was a character in Still a Brainrot, because over the weekend he was mysteriously removed. He just vanished from the game. All traces of him in the game was deleted, and the developers didn't say why. Nobody knew. But it's not just Still a Brainrot either. A bunch of Brainrot games on Roblox, like Brainrot Evolution, which is the second most popular Brainrot game on Roblox right now. Tongues to her was also removed from this game. Again, the developers didn't say anything, to my knowledge at least. He was just removed from the game. All traces of him gone. What in the world is going on here? Well, you see, that led everyone to this TikTok account right here. Noxa, no, I don't know how to say that. I'll just call him Noxa, right? This is the creator of tongues to her. Here's the original TikTok video that started it all. Also, take a look at this. 120.3 million views on that. You see that? That's crazy. Anyway, this is the creator of it, and if you read the comments here, if they'll load, there's so many new comments that the comments aren't loading. But yeah, just check out the comments there. Let me zoom in so you guys can really take a good look here. Yeah, people are mad. People are very mad, and they're really upset that tongues to her is gone from the game. So what happened next is this right here. This is Momentum Lab. Now, Momentum Lab here is the owners of the tongues to her IP. IP just means intellectual property. Basically, they own the rights to tongues to her. And as you can see, we are now mutuals on TikTok. In fact, we've been talking a little bit. Here's a bit of the conversation that I had with them on stream yesterday. And anyway, they issued a response to this entire situation. They're the owners of the character, and this is their response here. Now, I'm not going to read through this entire statement here, but what you need to know is this. Basically, they say that Still a Brainrot is making millions of dollars of revenue using Noxa's work and Noxa's characters, tongues to her being one of those. And I mean, yeah, it's true. That game is making millions of dollars. And they say down here that essentially if you want to use the character, especially in a project that's making millions of dollars, you need to acquire a license. You need to pay for the rights to use the character in your game. They say up here that Noxa did not remove tongues to her, that Sammy decided to remove the character from the game, and that it was his decision. Apparently, they don't say this here, but they kind of allude to it. It seems like they're implying that Sammy didn't want to pay for the license. Now, I don't know how much the license is, but I can tell you Still a Brainrot is making millions and millions and millions of dollars. So they probably do have the money to pay for the license. But now, again, that's not 100% confirmed, but that seems to be what they're kind of alluding to here, is that Sammy decided to, instead of paying for the license, just remove the character from the game. And that's kind of where we left off in the previous video. That's where that video ended. And since then, we have a few updates. First off, the creator, Noxa, he made a new video. Let me show the video here. Honestly, it's pretty funny. This is...
Yesterday's incident happened so fast that I'm confused why. And it turned out that day was my last day in the game. I don't know why. I was suddenly kicked out. It's not my fault, but Sammy deleted it. The Oge Italian rod is a tongue, and if he deletes it, it is a big mistake. Everyone will be sad. Everyone will be mad. And everyone doesn't want tongues to her to be removed.
So that's the video he made. Basically, he said here in the captions, he said, Sammy deleted tongue. I did not ask for him to be removed. Will the other brainrots leave? We can't lose our legend like this. Do you want tongue back? Hashtag bring back tongue. Noxa brainrot, still a brainrot. And if you read the comments here, it looks like people are still mad at Noxa here. Now, going back to Momentum Lab, I talked to them. And they actually emailed me over a legal statement that they sent out to a few different journalists, I believe. In fact, here it is. Here it is right here. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but there is some actual like solid answers here. So first off, who is Momentum Labs? Well, Momentum Labs is a collective of artists, lawyers, and IP researchers. So they own the Tongue character. And I say character because that leads into the next question and the big question that everyone was asking. How can you copyright an AI image? You can't. You can't copyright AI images. So how do they own Tongue? Well, this is the interesting part. The actual image of Tongue, sir, is not copyrighted. You're right. You can't copyright an AI image. But, and this is what they say in this paragraph here, they didn't copyright the image of Tongue, sir. They copyrighted the character of Tongue, sir. The lore surrounding him, how he looks, how he talks, how he sounds. Let me give you guys an example. This right here is a blue egg. I can't copyright this. It's just a blue egg. If I tried to copyright this, the copyright office would laugh at me and call me stupid. But if I gave this blue egg a name, Jerry. This blue egg's name is Jerry now. And let's say I gave Jerry here some eyes, maybe some arms, some legs, and I gave him a story. I gave him an actual character, a storyline, some lore. Well, now this goes from being just a blue egg to an actual character, a character that I created, a character that I made, and a character that I can copyright. And that's basically what happened here. You can't copyright the actual image, but what you can copyright is the character, the name, the lore surrounding him, how he talks, how he sounds, stuff like that, right? And again, I'm not going to read their entire statement here. Huge thank you for sending this over, by the way. But essentially what they're saying is they don't want people to, hate them. They don't want anything like that, right? They're not trying to stop people from using Tongue, sir. They're not trying to restrict, people from having fun with the character. They just want to make sure that the creator and the actual authors of Tongue, sir and these different brain rots are properly credited and properly get their, their dues when it comes to what they've done with, with these characters. So that's kind of the stance that they're taking here. Now, they actually end the in the statement with, that's the spark we're fighting to protect, and it's only the beginning, because a lot of brain rots and meme creators are contacting us. And this is where things are going to get a little bit crazy, especially for Roblox games. You see, Tongue, sir is already gone. He's being removed from a bunch of these games. But, and kind of like Noxa says in his video here, will the other brain rots leave? Technically, according to Momentum Lab's statement here, it kind of seems like we might be looking at a situation where a lot of these brain rot games on Roblox are in trouble. And let me explain what I mean. So like all of these brain rot games use obviously these AI characters, right? We've got the Pot Hotspot, we got the Tralalero. I hate that I know the name of those characters. In fact, if we join into still a brain rot, the majority of brain rots in the game are just taken from the popular memes. If we look at the index here, PP Kiwi, that's a TikTok meme. Flurry Flora, Tim Cheese, like Trippy Troppy, PP Corny, like all of these are just brain rots that they took from, these TikTok videos, basically. And what Momentum Labs is saying here in these statements, in their statements here, is, well, technically these games don't own any of these characters. They just kind of took them and now they're using them and making millions of dollars off of them. What's stopping the creator of Berber Patapim from doing the exact same thing and saying, hey, that's my character. I created that character. If you want to use it, you got to pay a license. Or Lavaca Saturnita or whatever his name is. Same thing, right? I forget the name of this, but same thing, right? And so what could be happening here is we could be looking at a situation where brain rot games on Roblox might just be cooked, because it's like, well, if the creator of Tongue, sir can get paid for this and get properly credited for this, then what's stopping all the other creators of these brain rots from doing the exact same thing? And so either still a brain rot is going to have to start shelling out a bunch of money for licensing, or like 75% of the game is just going to end up getting deleted. Honestly, more than that. It's probably like 95%. Now, I think the big question here, and this question is probably going to decide how you feel about this situation, is does characters created by AI, even though they were created by AI, do they qualify as original characters? If the answer is yes, well, then I mean, the creators of these characters probably deserve to get paid for this stuff. If the answer is no, then I mean, maybe you feel differently. Maybe you think they shouldn't get paid for this stuff. If I drew Jerry the Egg, if I drew him and created him off of a piece of paper, and then some Roblox game took that and made millions of dollars off of that character, I would probably sue them. Not going to lie. I'd probably sue them. It gets tricky though right now because obviously instead of using a piece of paper to generate Jerry the Egg, or in this case, Tung Sahur, the creator of it used an AI generator. Does that mean that the original character that he made is no longer valid? I mean, I don't know. Does that mean that he shouldn't get paid for the original character anymore? I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma, and I don't really have the answer to it. Part of me thinks that, well, yeah, these characters were generated with AI. They weren't drawn on a piece of paper, but I mean, they are technically original characters. So, I mean, I think they should, the creators of them should get paid. But at the same time, it's also AI generated, which means it's a hodgepodge of like a bunch of other images that they don't like. I don't know. It's a tough situation. It's a tough situation, and I don't really have an exact answer, but that's kind of what's going on right now. These brain rot games on Roblox, they might be in trouble.